Take a look at this. It's an article from Politico right now saying that U.S. officials are worried about ISIS fighters breaking out of a prison in Syria. Now, it's interesting when you look at the details in regards to all of this. They're claiming there's about 9,000 ISIS fighters being held in prisons in Syria. Now, it's supposed to be temporary. Hasn't been temporary, though, of course, because their home countries don't want these individuals. And for some reason, we have to keep them alive. This jail is being, or these prisons are being, I guess, overwatched by US backed Kurdish forces. Now, ultimately, what's happening here, folks, is the potential threat that these individuals, because it's in Syria, might actually get freed. And now we're going to have another 9,000 ISIS fighters amongst us. Now, again, folks, this is obviously deeply concerning, but it's not surprising given the fact we talked about on this program. Our own federal government is literally funding terrorist organizations, people that want to kill you and I. We're paying for it. It's an insane thought, but this all is just, it's according to the Biden regime, is normal. I mean, they literally don't think that anything is wrong with any of this. And we'll talk about that in just a few moments. But look at this quote that Politico just put in here. They said that the individual that they're talking to, they're keeping it anonymous, of course. I usually hate this cliche, but this is the closest thing to a ticking time bomb. If Turkey doesn't get these attacks on these Syrian democratic forces halted, we could actually have a massive jailbreak on our hands. And it's a serious issue and one that should warrant serious concerns. Joining me now to discuss is Congressman Tim Burchett. He joins us now. Congressman, I want to thank you for being with me. You know, you did an incredible job, and we're going to play that clip in just a few moments, confronting Anthony Blinken about all of this last week. But, you know, we're now hearing that there's this threat in Syria that 9,000 ISIS fighters could potentially be freed and going about, you know, living life and potentially causing terrorist attack all around the world. Your reaction to seeing this report that it's a ticking time bomb at this point?
I'm not surprised, Brianna, and thank you so much for having me on the show today. This is very important, and people aren't paying attention to this. It's like you're playing pool, and you got the table's just full of balls, and you think I'm just going to hit this one ball, and that's it. You know, this thing is just it's ricocheting every which way. Once again, our State Department and our so-called intelligence agencies, if they advise us in this thing, they advise us wrong. You know, sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And now we're getting a taste of the devil we don't know. And once again, we have energized a group of people to come after us. Case in point, we're sending millions of dollars every week, documented, to the Taliban, people that hate Christians and Jews. I don't know your religious belief, but I suspect that falls into one of those two, ma'am. But
Yeah.
the truth is that we are funding our enemies, and we're on both sides of these things. We need to get out. We need to get home. We need to protect our own dadgum border and stop. It's horrible. And the way you handle it is the way Donald J. Trump handled it, through economic superiority. And that's
Yeah.
what he did. He put economic pressure on these people. He either starved them out or, and remember Iran, they were broke. They were broke. And now they're $1 billion surplus because the Biden administration let them back in the oil business. And now what are they doing? They're using that money to fund our terrorists. All this stuff all over the world.
Yeah. Well, Congressman, the problem is that we're funding these terrorist organizations who are using the money that we're sending over there to train their terrorists. And then you have DHS who's letting them into the country. And then you have the FBI then saying, oh, there's an increased terror alert that should be going out because we're seeing a really horrifying threat now in our country internally. And then they're asking for more funding so they could grow these agencies. So it's pretty concerning that this is continuing to go on. Now, you actually confronted Anthony Blinken about this last week, and I think you did an incredible job. So let's play that clip for our audience, and then I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Why are we giving the Taliban millions in taxpayers' dollars while they hold Americans hostage and are killing the Afghan people? And in my opinion, sir, they will hate us for free. We don't need giving them money.
We're not giving the Taliban anything. As I discussed with Congressman Mast, we are providing money, as many other countries are, to UN agencies, NGOs, to help the Afghan people.
And these agencies are funding the Taliban. Reports are saying between 40 and 80 million U.S. tax dollars are given to the Taliban every dadgum week. I mean, is that acceptable?
According to the report that I read and that the Congressman referred to, the CIGAR's report, of the approximately $8 billion that the international community, including the United States, has dedicated to Afghanistan, about $10 million of that is 0.1%, has no doubt gotten to the Taliban in terms
I don't
of
care if it's a
fees,
dadgum
utilities.
penny. I don't care if it's a penny. I mean, for you to sit up here and admit that our enemies, I mean, these people swear to hate Christians and Jews, and that takes care of about everybody in this dadgum room. And we're sending them, I don't care if it's 1%, and you can, but let me tell you, $10 million is a hell of a lot of money to people I represent.
Spot on, and it's upsetting that Anthony Blinken doesn't really understand the fact that this is a major, major issue. Your reaction to just hearing him being so dismissive when you confronted him with this?
Well, he understands it. He gets it. This White House is compromised. They're checking out, Brianna. They are ready to get out. They're trying to get out before they get indicted. And that's exactly what they're doing. And they're probably got their name on the stack for a preempted pardon under the Biden administration, as they did the Chinese communist spy pedophile that they pardoned. They should have sent his dadgum ashes back to China, not his living body. But this is just more of an indication of the arrogance of these people. It's infected both parties, really. We're not holding anybody accountable. We can all get all pumped up. And I've told everybody, quit doing your dadgum victory lap. Let's get to work. Let's pay attention. Because right now is what's happening in D.C. is bad. And there's a lot of things we don't know that are happening in a 1,500-page bill that we have just a few hours to read before it's passed. So we've got some real problems, and people are not paying attention.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to that as well because, a lot of people are upset with Speaker Mike Johnson because he continues to not live up to the promises that he laid out before becoming Speaker and taking over the gavel. And here we are again, now just days before Christmas, dealing with a spending bill, which I wouldn't even call it a spending bill at this point. If you've looked briefly at it, spending bill wouldn't be 1,500 pages long with all of these, I would say all of these ways for the federal government to hide what they've been doing these last few years, because that's what they've slipped into all of this. But Speaker Johnson was on Fox and Friends earlier, and he was actually asked about all of this and how Elon Musk isn't happy in regards to Speaker Johnson pushing this spending bill. Let's take a listen to how he kind of dodged that question.
You know who also does not like this? Elon Musk, the world's richest man, just tweeted, this bill should not pass. The only way you're going to be able to pass it now, Mr. Speaker, is with Democrats. If you could, what's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight, and he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks, and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda. That's what we're going to run with gusto beginning January 3rd when we start the new Congress, when Republicans, again, are in control. And all of our fiscal conservative friends, I'm one of them, will be able to finally do the things that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. Right now, Democrats still control the pens, and that's the problem.
So it sounds like he's kind of writing all of this off. We've got to get this done is kind of how he's pushing it. But there's a lot in here that shouldn't be in here. I know you're a no vote on this, but what can you tell the American people about Speaker Johnson and the job he's been doing thus far? Because a lot of people are infuriated by it.
Well, they're infuriated, but dadgum, where they've been on the last, how many of these things have we done? I've been here 6 years, and everybody says the same thing. They said thing under the previous speaker, and it's just, the thing is, it's so big and we've got no reinforcement. You've got members up here, ranking members who are pushing for funding for their little pet projects that end up costing billions of dollars because their wife and or girlfriend works for that firm. And, this is just, you're just seeing the curtains pulled back. This is the dirty truth of Washington politics. And it happens at the state, federal level. And the reason it happens is 15 to 25% of the population vote. And they're all pumped up because they voted for Trump. Well, guess what? We got a dadgum 3-4 person, maybe. I'm not sure if we lose they pull back another win from us in California, we might have less. If you get a bad case of the flu goes through up here, we don't have the majority. So we've got you all need to pay attention. The American public needs to get mad, but you need to vote. and you need to talk to your friends and neighbors and quit just voting for Trump and then forgetting about everything else, all the way down to the local level. That's where the rubber meets the road. Our school boards, for instance, during COVID, everybody found out, oh, look what my kid's being taught in school, because they started looking over their shoulders on those stupid computers. And then they found out that maybe this filth these kids are talking about, they're getting taught about it at school. And, and then they labeled the parents as domestic terrorists. That's what people need to start paying attention. They need to start paying attention that, national organizations are letting women compete as men. These things, it all feeds into this whole mentality, the arrogance of Washington, D.C., of this sewer that we have put in place. And we put it in place either by our activity or our inactivity. And currently it's the inactivity. And America is waking up a little bit. But when I get a call or a text from somebody from out of state, it doesn't do a whole lot. You need to make sure that people are energized in their own districts. I love hearing from my friends and enemies all across the country, and I got plenty of them right now. But dadgummit, we got to wake up, folks. You got to pray for your country. Ask God what you should be doing. I guarantee you it's not just sitting at home watching The View and deciding off of that garbage. We need to get activated, and you need to start calling your legislators and explaining to them, I do not stand for this. People are paying $600 more a month out of pocket just to survive under this Biden regime, this crime family that's infected our White House, and it's out of control. And you all can decide and do something about it. Please do. Please get involved, even if this thing passes or fails. Either way, because if it fails, everybody's going to declare victory, and guess what? They're going to pass something probably just as egregious. It just won't be as obvious.
Yeah, that's usually how this all goes down. So I definitely think you're right on that one. I wanted to ask you, Congressman, in regards to former Congressman Matt Gaetz. It looks like the House Ethics Committee has voted to release the report into the former Congressman by the end of this year, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am.
Matt Gaetz has been very honest in regards to everything. He denies all the allegations that are being made against him. He's never been criminally charged. He's no longer in Congress. So your reaction to them announcing that they're going to release the report, because the motives here sound questionable to me. It sounds like they're just trying to make sure he can't get back into politics at all. So what are your thoughts on this?
I had a running debate on CNN, and this is a revenge tour. The Biden Justice Department refused to press charges against Matt Gaetz. Mm-hmm. There's nobody that hates Matt Gaetz more than this Justice Department. My wife, I remember when Matt thought he was going to get the appointment, or we thought he was, and my wife texted me, said, "Oh, honey, you've lost your only friend in Congress." So I'm close to Matt. I mean, I've always listened to what he had to say, and look, the problem we got is there's him and Ginger, his wonderful wife. This is a vindictive thing, and I've said on CNN this morning, dadgummit, you're going to release his file, release every investigation you have on every past congressman and current congressman, because if that's the way they're going to do it, then do it. It's all it is an investigation. It's not it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. But I would think that if you're going to go after one, go after all of them. Let the public see all the stuff that's out there on former congressmen that, are no longer here, that are up here and are super powerful lobbyists behind the scenes kind of things. Let it all go. If you're going to do one, they've broken the mold, broke the seal on this thing, release it. It doesn't hurt Matt any. Matt's making money. He's on OAN, and he will OWN it probably. He will probably own the dadgum thing. He's got a huge following, and him and his wife Ginger are just wonderful people. And I'm sorry this is coming out now, but he can handle it.
Yeah. It just seems to be dirty politics, and I've just had enough of witnessing it. There's no reason to go after the guy. If there was an ounce of evidence on any of these allegations that are being made his way, they would have prosecuted him by now. We all know the Department of Injustice has been going after all of President Trump's allies. So if they had anything, they would have done something at this point. But I want to thank you, Congressman, for joining me as always. We appreciate your honesty. Most of the time, we don't get those fair shakes from politicians, we'll say. But you're not a politician. You are a man of the people, and we greatly appreciate that.
Thank you, Brianna, and I hope you have a very politically incorrect Merry Christmas, ma'am.
As we always do, sir. Thank you. Stop what you're doing right now. I need you to stop it. And I need you to head it on over to your favorite podcasting platforms and give this show a follow. We're available on Apple, Amazon, literally every single platform, even Spotify. Head on over there, give us a follow. It's the best way to stay in the know. Sign up for those automatic downloads. So when I do send you an exclusive your way, you're the first one to hear about it. Again, folks, we're on all podcasting platforms. So make sure you give us a follow. We greatly appreciate it when you do so. All right, I need your help. I've just set a goal for the month of December and we're a little behind, so I could use your assistance. I'm looking for 1,000 of you all at home to donate $5 a month to this program. It's going to help out significantly in regards to hiring producers, researchers. So if you can head on over right now to supportbree.com, help me achieve my goal. I'm just looking for 1,000 people to donate $5 each month. It's all done through DonorBox, so it's safe and secure. That's over at supportbree.com. Just to remind you folks, we're not funded by any corrupt corporations, big pharmaceutical companies, or corrupt foreign governments. We're literally funded by you all at home. And so if you can help us out, we would greatly appreciate it. Again, folks, it's supportbree.com. That's supportbre.com. That is the platform where you could go help us out. And we greatly appreciate it when you do so.